Sun's period gets you involved in different fields, more in some kinds of financial fields. You're still engaged in publishing and writing and serving devotees, but you're engaged in other kinds of businesses during the Sun's period in order to raise money, and of course raising money is important for your execution of family duties as well. Sun in the 8th house, as I mentioned, is an Arishta yoga, but still the combination of Sun and Jupiter in your navamsa chart is a Raja yoga, which makes you still, quite involved as a preacher, as a counselor, a teacher, and involved in the publishing of books and in many ways helping to spread the Krishna consciousness movement. So the Sun occupies, an auspicious navamsa in your chart, which is important because if a planet is in a good house in navamsa, the Sun in the 5th and the 11th house of your navamsa chart joining the Lord of the 5th, which is Jupiter, constitutes a Dana yoga, which is a yoga of producing wealth. And it also, the Dana yoga and the Sun help to produce position, power, and influence, and the possibility of becoming, self-situated in business, doing your own business, for example. The Moon's period then operates from 2007 to 2017. Moon is on the ascendant in your chart. The Moon is in its waxing phase in your. The Moon is almost full in your horoscope. As a matter of fact, you were born only 2 days before the full moon, and so that means that there is expansion of family during the Moon's period. In the Drekana chart, the Moon is in the 5th house with Venus, which means expansion of family, birth of children, or a second child, let's say, is likely to come about during that period. Moon's period gives greater happiness, some answers to some important health questions. It gives learning new things and travel, engagement in different kinds of businesses, new businesses. The mutual aspect of Mercury and Moon can get you into some businesses relating to homes or property, as well as health, food, and restaurants, perhaps. Moon in your chart gets a strong aspect from exalted Mars, which gives you benefits from foreign countries or foreigners, and gives you the benefits acquired from traveling to foreign countries. As a matter of fact, there's part of Archana Yoga between the Moon and Mars in your Navamsa chart. It is the ruler of the 6th in the 9th house, and 9th house ruler in the 6th house. That means, possibilities of foreign investments and foreign business goes on in addition to foreign travel. So the Moon's period, because of its relevance to nurturing the home, the hearth, and family, gives you a chance to expand a family, expand business, and it's waxing and it's in the 1st house of your chart, so it means you become happier and more contented, and you're feeling the balance or the fulfillment of having a good life. An outstanding period comes up for you in the Mars Dasha from the age 42 to 49. Mars is the exalted Yoga Karaka of your chart. Mars is forming a Raja Yoga with Venus, as discussed many times. So Mars's Dasha will be even more powerful than the Venus Dasha for devotional engagement, devotional service. And that's quite appropriate because you'll be in your mid to late 40s during the Mars period, which means that you'll be more inclined during those years to renew your sadhana and come to, a much more devoted and much more, absorbed consciousness in devotional service. Mars in your Navamsa chart is also in the 9th house, which means, continuation of your spiritual path and, and very eager, enterprising type of attitude in devotional service. So think of Mars's Dasha as very, very powerful in many ways. And I would also give the same attributes to your Rahu Dasha from the age of 49 to 67. Although Rahu's Dasha, Rahu in the 4th house, causes you to, be more inward or to retire somewhat in your 50s and 60s. But again, we look into the navamsa chart. Rahu is in the 11th house. It's with Jupiter and, aspected by Mercury and Saturn. So, it's, you don't really stop, your engagement in the types of things you're doing now, even during the Rahu's period, even though Rahu's period, being in the 4th house, makes you want to internalize more and makes you want to savor your private life and your private environment more. Rahu's Dasha represents a time when you can do a lot of writing, and you'll probably publish your own book during the Rahu Dasha. And you're also likely to enjoy, the birth of grandchildren during the Rahu Dasha. So longevity isn't that great. You're likely to die sometime midway through the Dasha of Jupiter. Jupiter in the 8th house is getting aspected by Saturn, which is a Marika planet. Jupiter aspect in the 12th house guarantees a rising to a higher position in your next life, ascending to a higher birth beyond what you took birth in the current lifetime. The 8th house represents the manner of death, and the 12th house represents the destination one goes to after death. And Jupiter being in the 8th house aspects the 12th house, so it's very likely that you're going to be in good consciousness at the time of death. You're in full awareness of the process of transmigration of the soul, and your next destination is certainly very auspicious, given that position of Jupiter in your chart in the 8th house. So this brings us just about to the end of our reading. We've covered the nature and disposition of each one of the planets, the types of yogas they form. We've also talked about the planetary periods, specifically major and sub-periods going on now, and then the major dashas beginning from the sun and operating through the rest of your life. If you desire to have any specific details or detailed reading about any of these specific dashas for the end of your life, do get in touch with me via email, and we can arrange to do more specific readings. So obviously in a lifetime reading we can't give great detail to each one of the dashas. So if you want more updates or more specific timings of certain things, get in touch with me and we can do that later. So thank you, Ivar, very much for the opportunity to study your chart. I hope this reading has been meaningful for you. And do get in touch, be in touch and give me feedback or questions or dialogue in any kind of way. It would be good to have a continued dialogue with you. Good luck, Hare Krishna to you, and I hope all turns out as you desire and expect it to. Goodbye for now.